Hello, welcome to this video presentation of our group project. Our group project was done using Ionic, and it incorporates Firebase and MongoDB as the databases, and also uses various plugins to implement a number of the functionality. So what we're going to do is we're going to just go through each of the features, and then afterwards we're going to go through the code and see how get a quick overview of basically how each of these features was implemented. So first things first, this application allows one to register and log in, and this is done using Firebase. You can also create a group and join a group. This is also done using Firebase. And lastly, you can create a note, save a note, upload a file, and this is done using MongoDB. So first things first, let's just register. Profile image, just copy the image address and paste it in. So as you can see, we're now registered and logged in as test2 with this profile picture. And if we go to our database, you can now see our email is here. So this is a document. We have two collections in Firebase with groups and users. So the users with this document, and this collection we have the email, the first name, groups away. Once you join a group, this array will be populated, as you can see here. So for this user, he's part of this group, as the group's profile image, and he's also part of this group, as the random group ID is assigned. So go back to our application. So you can also add a note. File name. So as you can see now, the note has been added. And if you go to MLab, just refresh the page. We now see our test doc. It's a file name test doc. Date, the time it was created, the group ID, and the random ID assigned. So it's been successfully added to the database. So if we go to groups now, and these are the currently created groups. You can join a group if you want, which will add you to the group. And if you view the group, you can now see that we're in it. And also these other two users are in the group. So if we go back to Firebase and click on the user we just created, you can now see this group array, which was previously empty, is now populated with the actual group information that we're a part of. And if we go to groups, you can see all the users that are part of this group, which is the maths group. So as you can see, we're here now, test2. So if you want to create a group, you can also do that. Group name. And we'll just use this image again. So that group has now been successfully created. As you can see, it's here. So if you view, once you create a group, you're automatically added to that group, and whoever creates a group is made an owner. So we go back to Firebase now. You can see this is our group here, and it's the users in the group, and he's the owner. So this is just a list of the users, and this is just basically just a list of all the registered users. So that's the main functionality of the app. If you're at the home page and you're logged in, you can see which groups you're part of, and notes should load here. So now we're just going to go through the code and get a quick overview of how each of these features are implemented. So as you can see, we've got a good bit of pages made. So we'll just go over the register and basically user authentication first. So for the HTML, we'll just use the form, and as you can see, once this form is submitted, it'll call this function on add user. So this is the function here. If the form is valid, it'll generate a default. If the form is valid, right, it'll generate a default profile image if there's no profile image provided. Else, if there is, the profile image will be the provided image address. So if the form is valid, it'll create a user, a constant user, an array. It'll take the username from the form, the password, the email, first name, etc. And this here will create the user, or if the inputs are invalid, display error message. This is handled all by Firebase. So this authentication service is right here, which we'll go over in a bit, but let's go over this first. So this utility service, right, this present host. It's just present host is basically just showing now. So this service basically just provides a number of like alerts and messages, and basically gives the user an idea of what's going on. So as you can see here, this is loading. This showcases like, oh, something's loading in the background, and this here indicates that something's done. So just go back to this here right now. So if the user signed up, it'll say sign up successful, you've been logged into your new account. It will set the username and profile image to the username and the profile image you chose in local storage. And once you've registered, it'll navigate you to home and it will reset the form. If there's an error, it will use the same service as I previously described to indicate that something went wrong, that you weren't registered successfully. So now we'll go to the authentication service. So the authentication and validation is provided by Firebase. Previously we were using MongoDB to register the user. As pointed out by our supervisor, using local storage wasn't really a good option, because what if you wanted to log in from a different device? So we went with Firebase in the end. So here we created a private user, firebase.user, and Firebase provides a lot of user-orientated functionality. So this sign in with email and password, this isn't a function that we created ourselves. This is like provided by Firebase itself. So in this constructor, right, if the state change, if there's a login state change, it'll set the user. Else, it will set the user to null, i.e., the user is logged out. So this login function just takes in the email and the password, and it returns this. Sign in with email, it will sign you in with the email and password. Reset password, you can also reset your password. It will take in the email, and it will send a password reset email. So sign up. So this will try to sign up using the supply credentials using Firebase authentication. It'll check if the email doesn't match your current account. If it is, it'll tell you. It then saves the user data to a document. So the groups and users are handled basically with a document. So that's basically what you see on Firebase. It's basically a document that it creates for each user and group. So yeah, here is the user document. This sets up the user document basically. So Angular stored document. This is the name of the collection. this is the array. It'll create a new user object, so the password isn't stored in the database, only in authentication. It'll then return that array. So this gets the signed user, this gets the signed in user details. First makes a reference to the document, then returns the value, actual observable. This will log you out. Again, all these are provided by Firebase, so this will check if you're signed in. And this gets all the users from the database, as you saw on the users page. So now we'll go to the login. So, like the register page, it's a form, and once the form is submitted, it'll log you in. It will attempt to log you in. And these are just quick links to, if you don't have an account, you can navigate to the register page and create an account from there. And if you forgot your password, you can reset your password from here. So this is just the user's array right here. Basically gets the user data. So this user's array stores all current users, and to log in, it'll iterate through this array and check for the entered credentials. So if the form is valid, it'll attempt to log you in with the email and password. If successful, it'll tell the user and it'll navigate back to home. And this sets up the data for menu display. So on the side menu, as you saw, it will set the username and profile image. And if there's an error, it'll tell you basically, right? So let's see, now we'll go to groups. So this new group page, again, it's a form, and once this form is submitted, it'll call this function on that group. And it's very similar to the register and login. If the form is valid, if there's no profile image provided, it will generate a default one, else it will take in the profile image provided and set that one. So again, like the register, it'll create a new group array, group name from the form, profile picture, group description, and basically it's here. This creates a group on Firebase and adds the currently signed in user as a member, and again navigates to home and resets the form. So if you just go to the group service now. So this gets, again, like the users, the groups are implemented using a document basically on Firebase. So this creates a reference to the group collection and returns values from that collection. So that gets all groups. This gets a single group from the database, and again from the collection groups, but this time it gets the group based on its ID and returns this. So this creates a group. This sets up. This is called setup group document right here. So very similar to the users. So for the groups, it first generates a random group ID, and using authentication service to get the signed in user details, it will generate a new group based on group ID, group name, group description, profile image, and group members. And basically here, all this sets the group ID, which will load in the same home page. It'll also set the group name, which is used to display the current group on the home page, and it'll then get a reference to the document on Firestore with new random group ID. And this set method here just writes the object to the database. This sets up a document to be added to group members array in the user document. So as you saw on Firebase, in the users collection, you could just click in on whatever user, you could see which group they're part of,